This is a training session on design and more of the functions and the tools available in design for you to use. So let's begin we're in the customer, Tess Smith. We're going to create a design. Let's start just with a new design. We don't have to use a template. It'll bring in the Airphoto. Now the Airphoto is brought into scale, and you can see a small grid line here. It's set to 1 by 1 meter grid. Obviously the icons defining our site address. So what about all the tools? So this tool is for moving objects. So for example, if we drew something, we select it, we can move it around on the screen. The next tool is a resize tool. So we can make this larger and smaller. This tool is a rotate tool. So you can rotate around anywhere on the screen. This tool is obviously zoom in and out, but it's also panning across the screen. Now, if you want to delete an item, you can see if you select it, the little bin appears, so we can simply get rid of that. Let's go back to panning. The rotate tool is handy to align, say, the property boundary to the grid. We have a lot of builders wanting to do this. So now you can draw and focus in on the backyard. This tool simply returns the screen back to its full canvas size. This one's really handy. This is like a group selection tool, but also rotate and move. So if we had an object and we select this tool, you can move it around and you can also spin it. Again, let's delete. Pretty self-explanatory, a line tool, and it actually gives you the running line dimensions. It's quite handy for when you want to draw pool fences. And you can change, the type of the line and the thickness of the line with these tools over here, and even the colors. This tool here is if you're using an iPad with a pencil, you can draw freely on the screen. This tool here, obviously drawing rectangles. Let's try and draw a pool in the backyard. So the line thickness is quite thick, so we can reset that back. And we can give this a fill with some water. Again, circles, handy for drawing trees, all these different shapes. This tool's really cool. Let me just delete some of these. This next tool is a polygon tool. It's probably our most popular tool because it's got a running dimension. So if people want a 5 meter pool by 8, maybe with a bit of a swim out, you can quickly draw a pool. Again, give it a fill. Very, very handy. Text tool. Let's write some text. So plus datum. Our fresco deck. And you can use the move tool to move your text around. Dimension tool, obviously very important. Access, it's 2 meters wide, so we get a decent size excavator in. And the pool's 7 meters from the rear al fresco. You can do side setback dimensions as well, but obviously using the grid, this is more than 2 meters off the boundary. So it's not meant to be a replacement for approval plans. They're to be done professionally with our shop. But in terms of doing a quick concept in order to win the job and contract the pool, this is what this design module is for. And you can plot a datum and north point. You can import an image if you like an Airphoto. We'll do that on another training session. And rescaling, I'll go through that. Let's look at some of these other tools, particularly in layers. So you can actually work in layers. So if we drew coping, we can apply a fill. So you can start seeing it starting to look like a pool. Let's draw a pool fence. It's 12 meters long. Keep that a dashed line. Slightly thicker. And maybe we'll do that in purple. And we might just locate where the gate's going to go. The client would like to know where the gate is. Might put that here so it's directly in front of the alfresco. And we might want to draw the filter box location. So let's just draw a filter. Give that a fill of yellow. And let's just label that a filter box. And obviously you can draw notes in on the pool as well if you like. There we go. Another functionality is the auto calculations. So let's try doing that now. So let's select the object. You'll see that it's selected. Let's tell the software that that object is a pool. This label pool applies. Now let's set the depth and the coping height. So this is a profile of the average profile of the deep end. So it's set to 1 meter, it's 1.8 meter deep pool. Let's make it 1.6. Let's give them a slightly larger deep end. And then if you've been to site, you're going to have an idea of the coping heights above natural ground level. And just press calculate. You can see on the right of the screen here, it's auto-generated all the calculations required to generate a quote. We have 82.7 square meters of interior area. So, 83 square meters of tiling or pebble or glass bead. The water volume, so in New South Wales, we'd need a BASIX because it's over 40,000 kilolitres. It's telling you in excavation, it's just over 55 cubes. That it's equivalent to 9.29 loads. So you'd round it up to 10 loads. It's also telling you that you've got 10.15 square meters of above ground formwork to put in your quote as well. Waterline tiling, 29 millimeters. When you press pass to quote, that will, I won't do it now because it's a separate training session, that will pass all that quote data straight into the quoting system for you, so you don't have to write it all down and when you're generating your quote. Another handy tool is the layers. See, the layers effectively are tracing paper layers. You can, restack them just with this little tool. And if you select the air photo, it's got opacity. So if you really want the design to sing and be clearer, you can turn down the opacity. And you can turn layers on and off. So if you don't want to use an air photo and you just want to use the pen to sketch on the screen with the scaled grid, you don't have to have the air photo on. And you can turn all the other layers off and on. Well, that's a session, an overview of the design tools. We train you on this, and we welcome any questions, feedback, and look forward to chatting to you soon. But thank you for this session.